What's good, everyone? OJ here. Welcome back to another video. Today we've got some awesome information for you guys, but before we get into that, please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, and click that notification bell to get my videos first, as we're dropping new videos and live streams pretty much daily on the channel, from Nintendo to RPGs and a bit more. But let's go ahead and get right into the first topic here, and we're talking about a PlayStation 2 remaster coming to the Nintendo Switch from the famed studio Vanillaware. Odin Sphere, Dragon's Crown, Mirror Moss of the Demon Blade. Yeah, those guys. They work with Atlas quite a bit as well too. So the game is GrimGrimoire Once More. Very interesting play on the title there. I like it. And this is a very weird, but once again, interesting looking game. We have some more details, got a brand new trailer that you guys are seeing, details on the game, screenshots, lots of stuff going on here. So publisher Nippon Ichi Software and developer Vanillaware have released a debut trailer, information, and screenshots for the newly announced GrimGrimoire Remaster, GrimGrimoire Once More, you know, because they're doing it again. I like that. So, which is due out for the PlayStation 4 and the Nintendo Switch on July 28th in Japan for 4,980 yen. Now, there has not been a confirmation here in America just yet, but this is Nippon Ichi Software, so chances are it's going to be in the West, in Europe, and also here in the US. So let's go ahead and get into the about with this game, because this is a really weird game that I didn't even remember, or I didn't even see or anything back in the day on the PlayStation 2. So GrimGrimoire is a magic fantasy real-time strategy game in which a young wizard girl named Lilette struggles to uncover the truth in order to avoid reliving the same 5 days and impending disaster. Developed by Vanillaware and published by Nippon Ichi Software, it was first released in 2007. Resurrected as GrimGrimoire Once More for the PlayStation 4 and the Nintendo Switch, this remastered release features high-resolution graphics and new systems that make the game more enjoyable, including great magic that can turn the tides in battle and a skill tree to strengthen your familiars. Please look forward to GrimGrimoire Once More, now more beautiful, vivid, and easier to play than ever. And I'm glad that they're adding those things, because looking at the gameplay here, it definitely seems like things can get a bit crowded and maybe even complicated. So having skill trees and having more ease ability to kind of get into it, I think that's definitely a good thing. Now, they have a whole story set up. They have some brand new art. They have screenshots going over Lilith and all the different people, the voice actors in Japan. So if you want to know more in depth about everything with the game, definitely check out the link in the description. But I'm happy to see that we're getting some of these obscure or niche type of games being brought over. Don't get me wrong, GrimGrimoire Once More, that's awesome. Obviously, Nippon Ichi Software is the publisher, so they definitely set out to get this done, bringing this type of game back. And this actually got my attention, but we do need to talk about some of the other stuff when it comes to Vanillaware, because there are some big games that they need to bring over when it comes to Vanillaware and their art style and how cool everything looks. We need that on the Nintendo Switch. We still have Mirror Moss of the Demon Blade that has not come out for modern platforms. We still have Dragon's Crown that needs to come out. We still have also Odin Sphere as well. Now, we're getting 13 Sentinels. Don't get me wrong, I'm pretty sure they don't want to just overload us with all these different games and it'll get in the way of their newest masterpiece, which 13 Sentinels is fantastic. I got a review code and I'll definitely be doing a video on that game as well. But I do just want to talk about this because they are missing quite a number of different things here. So we're getting 13 Sentinels, we're also getting, you know, this game GrimGrimoire Once More, which is great, but I would definitely love to see Mirror Moss of the Demon Blade. I would like to see Odin Sphere. I think Odin Sphere to me would be the game that I really want to come over to Nintendo Switch, along with Mirror Moss of the Demon Blade. And if they remaster those or if they port it over, Odin Sphere is on the PlayStation 4, and also with Mirror Moss, that might be a little bit harder. That's a Wii and PS Vita game. It never really got the HD treatment with everything, so that might be a bit tougher, but I think that they should definitely invest into that, and I think that it would do really well, because it didn't do bad on the Nintendo Wii, and I think that helped get the PS Vita port of the game. So we'll see what happens, but I love Vanillaware's art style. I love their games. I've always played Vanillaware titles ever since I became aware of what they were doing, and I think that this GrimGrimoire Once More title is going to be a really nice treat for real-time strategy fans out there, because the game has a lot of depth to it from what I've been reading with the skill trees and the different familiars, and the story seems a bit kooky, but still probably fun to go through, and this art is fantastic. You know the graphics and the art style are going to be great in this game, because they always are in Vanillaware games. So I do like what they're doing here, although it does look a bit weird when it comes to the gameplay, but it should be kind of fun to go through. I think they have confidence that this game can find its mark with real-time strategy fans. So what are your thoughts on this classic or cult hit PS2 title coming over to modern platforms with the PlayStation 4 and the Nintendo Switch? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Alright, and moving on to the next topic, I wanted to discuss this because there's been a lot of chatter online about Xbox JRPGs and if they're selling, and Xbox fans wanting more, and what's going on, and certain games missing them. But it does seem like whenever you try to raise up certain concerns, or maybe this is the reason why, there is quite a number of pushback from these said fans that are asking for certain games. So I wanted to go over a few different things here, and I'll probably make a future video that's more in depth, but I wanted to go over a few different things because the news recently broke that Scarlet Nexus finally hit 1 million in sales. Well, kind of shipments and digital and all of that together. So 1 million total, and then it got another million from Game Pass, because the game did end up going to Game Pass after a number of months of being on the market. So let's talk about this, because this is very dynamic, but I think that this sets a very dangerous precedent for Japanese RPGs on Xbox platforms, and I'm going to explain why in just a bit. So total worldwide shipments and digital sales for Scarlet Nexus have surpassed 1 million units, Bandai Namco announced. The total player count has passed 2 million, which includes Xbox and PC users who played the action RPG via Xbox Game Pass. Not just one, like just Xbox, but Xbox and PC Game Pass, 1 million units when it comes to it being added at no additional cost to your Xbox Game Pass sub. Now, that's not good, okay? Like, I know some people are going to try to spin it as good, but that's not good, and I'll give you guys an example of this. So there was the game that came out on the PS Plus, Lauren Lanning's game, The Oddworld Soulstorm, and he was upset because he felt that maybe it took away sales. That was downloaded 4 to 5 million times for no additional cost on PS Plus. 4 to 5 million for Oddworld Soulstorm, okay? So those are the type of numbers that you'd probably want to see for more of a smaller title, not the biggest title, but a big publisher like Bandai Namco, the big RPG, right? Like that. You probably want to see something more like that than only 1 million in the course of, 9 months, or, the game came out back in June, so we're going on a year now. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not the worst out there, but that's definitely not good. You don't want to see that. But what I'm talking about here, guys, is that this is an action RPG. It's a nice reviewed action RPG, and between the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC via Steam, which has an install base of hundreds of millions of people, only 1 million units sold, and a lot of those was at the bargain bin prices. It was discounted very quickly after launch. You can get it for $50, then you can get it for $40, then you can get it for $30, and it's went as low as $18 to $20 for a physical copy on the Xbox platforms, and as low as about $27 to $25 or so for the PlayStation platform. So that's definitely not what you want to see, especially because they weren't getting the $60 or full price for that this whole time. It's been discounted for quite some time. You don't want to see that for a new action RPG. But what's even worse, in my opinion, is because Microsoft had the marketing deal. So Xbox players were pushed. This is the action RPG to buy. Microsoft is pushing it. Let's go out there and buy it. And clearly people didn't go out there and buy it with the Xbox marketing push, because it only sold 1 million with everything combined, and then another 1 million with Xbox and PC when it comes to downloads for Game Pass. Downloads for Game Pass, which they do get their own cut for Game Pass. Bandai Namco gets a cut, and then also Bandai Namco gets, I guess, bonuses based on how many people download it. So they put out a thank you and everything. Now, I'm not trying to pocket watch for Bandai Namco or for their own expectations or anything, but at this type of rate, we're not going to get a lot of new RPGs on the Xbox. We're not going to get those AA RPGs and stuff like that unless there's some type of marketing deal or unless there's some type of Game Pass deal. That's the reason why something like Trials of Mana, which was very comparable to a Scarlet Nexus, would skip Xbox, because these numbers aren't very good. You need a marketing deal, you need Xbox Game Pass just to kind of get the name out there, or you need completely discounted games. It needs to be bargain bin or discounted to even reach 1 million units in almost a year. We're about 3 months away from the anniversary, 1 year anniversary of the game. So you need bargain bin or you need Game Pass, you need these huge marketing pushes, and it sets a bad precedent for these type of games. Can you release a brand new RPG on the Xbox platform and people go out there and buy it for $60 or whatever to support the developer, like we've seen on PlayStation platforms, like we've seen, not as much on PlayStation anymore, but it's a bit more than what we've seen on Xbox, and like we see regularly on the Nintendo Switch with multiple other RPGs like a Octopath, like a Monster Hunter Story, Monster Hunter Rise, Fire Emblem Three Houses, Astral Chain. The list goes on RPGs that have sold 1 million plus quickly on the Nintendo Switch. So I think that's the bad precedent that it sets, because we've had multiple big RPGs coming to the Xbox platform via Game Pass. So people aren't spending $60 at launch for the games. They're just saying, oh, well, I can play Dragon Quest, or I can play Octopath Traveler, I can play Scarlet Nexus on Game Pass, or it's eventually going to come to Game Pass. So why do I need to spend the 60, or why do I actually need to spend the money to get it? And I just don't think that's a good idea. If Xbox fans want more Japanese support, they've got to show that they actually support the Japanese games when they launch. You can't just wait for Game Pass, or otherwise it might not ever come at all, or other developers who don't have the Game Pass deals, don't have the marketing deals, like a Trials of Mana, or like a GrimGrimoire Once More, you know, Japanese games like that, it's just going to skip the Xbox platform completely, because history has told us that the sales usually are the lowest on the Xbox platform. And now you're saying, well, I can't get my $50 or $60 at launch or within the first couple months without price drops, without gouging the price down to $18 or to $25, then okay, then I'll buy the game. That's not going to be good for Xbox JRPGs. And I'm someone who buys Xbox JRPG. Now, shout outs to JCat. She actually did some research on Twitter quite a while ago on exactly the play rates of these JRPGs that are going straight to Game Pass. And if you look at it, it's not good there too, because Dragon Quest 11S, one of the best RPGs ever made, in my opinion, one of the best games, sold really well across the PlayStation, Nintendo 3DS, and also the Nintendo Switch. It came straight to Game Pass when it came out. Now, there is a physical copy that you can buy, but clearly that didn't really do much news at all when it was on Game Pass, right? So on Twitter, she had this research where she put out Dragon Quest 11 when it launched on Xbox Game Pass. And this is the Xbox top 50 most played games using the captures from the Wayback Machine. She did that, and the list was updated approximately weekly and includes Game Pass titles. And the game released December 4th, 2020. This is Dragon Quest 11S. December 9th, it was number 42 on most played. December 16th, it was number 45. December 23rd, it left the charts. So not only are people not playing these RPGs that are on there, like a Dragon Quest, right? I mean, launching at number 42, that's not necessarily great, but people aren't buying them or saying, hey, well, it's just going to come to Game Pass anyway, so why do I need to spend $60 or $50 on the game? That's not going to get Xbox players more JRPGs to play if they're not showing that they can buy the JRPGs in a good quantity or amount, which is why so many AA RPGs, like the Atelier Rises, like the games that we talked about, skip out on Xbox. This isn't a knock on it, guys, because once again, I buy stuff like Final Fantasy Maxima, and I've bought the Yakuza Like a Dragon. I've bought plenty of JRPGs on the Xbox platforms to help and support, But I think that Xbox fans need to realize what is going on here. That no, waiting for Game Pass, or you know what I'm saying, like not buying at near full price or not buying, you know, close to that is not a good thing. That's not going to help more developers say, oh yeah, you know what, it has to be Game Pass deal, or it has to be, you know, some type of weird marketing push or some type of exclusive marketing deal for us to get our game to do okay, decently, or somewhat something on the Xbox platform. Because right now, really what Xbox gets when it comes to JRPGs is the biggest games. It gets the Final Fantasies and it gets certain things like that. But when it comes to other stuff, it doesn't. And that's where the discontent comes from the hardcore Xbox base that I see. Now, JCat also rounded up Octopath Traveler doing the same thing. March 25th, 2021, Octopath Traveler comes to Xbox Game Pass. Then, March 26th, it's not on the chart. March 31st, it's not on the chart. April 6th, it's not on the chart. Octopath Traveler is a game that sold well over 2 million units on the Nintendo Switch and PC, with a majority of that being on the Nintendo Switch because the Steam charts weren't quite as high as what we saw with what Nintendo did. I think in about a month or so, it wasn't very long, I know, it already sold like 1.2 or 1.3 million units on the Nintendo Switch at $60 a pop, and it can't even chart on the Xbox Game Pass stuff. Xbox Game Pass, with what's going on there, right, combined with people just not being as interested, I think that that's not setting a good precedent. So that's where I'm kind of coming from when it comes to this sets a dangerous precedent. Just because you're sitting here and saying, hey, you can have the highest quality RPGs or the best JRPGs that are coming out, Xbox Game Pass, no need to buy them. I don't think that's going to help get future support. And when they do come, people aren't playing them as much as a lot of the other games that are out on the Xbox platform. So that's just my opinion on the matter. Once again, it's not a knock on the Xbox platform. I have an Xbox Series X. I think that it's a good system outside of some DRM stuff and all of that. And I still will continue to buy JRPGs on my Xbox Series and all of that. I will, just like I buy them on Switch and I buy them on PlayStation. I buy it on pretty much anything, whatever to support the JRPGs out there. But once again, I don't think this is a good look here. But what are your thoughts when it comes to everything that I discussed? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button. Subscribe if you're someone new. Click that notification bell, and we'll see you for the next video. Peace.